We grew up with them, but sadly, they never got to grow up.
Roberta, you're my best friend.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 child stars who died too soon.
Please, Daddy, please! I won't stay here!
For this list, we'll be looking at actors that started working in film or television at an early age, and unfortunately died at an early age as well. We'll be basing our entries on the popularity and talent of the young actors, and how much they were, and still are, missed by their fans. Number 10. Dana Plato.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cocker.
We knew her as Kimberly Drummond on the sitcom Different Strokes, and that's because after the show ended, she had trouble finding another role that stuck. Desperate to stay relevant, Plato got a boob job and tried her hand at modeling for Playboy.
I don't even know how to put it. I was happy doing it. I'm not ashamed of it.
If you think that was her rock bottom, she then had almost all of her money stolen by her accountant and lost custody of her child. Left poor and without work, she resorted to appearing in softcore porn films, engaging in petty theft, and turning to drugs and alcohol for comfort. She later only used painkillers, but an overdose led to her death at age 34. Sadly, her Different Strokes co-star Gary Coleman was yet another child star who died too soon.
If I'm lying, may I never sleep in a dry bed again.
Number 9. Sawyer Sweeten.
Have you been drinking again?
Maybe the name Sawyer Sweeten doesn't ring a bell, but fans know him as one half of the set of twins on the sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond.
It's bad news for Europe, Ray.
He and his twin brother Sullivan began working on the TV show when they were a little over 1 year old, alongside their older sister Madeline. When the show ended in 2005, Sawyer was only 10 years old and hardly worked. A decade later, before turning 20, Sawyer shot himself in the head.
We had questioned him over the course of those 8 days, if he felt, suicidal. And both times, I had asked him and his dad had asked him, and both times he said no.
His on-screen family reached out on social media to express their sympathy and disbelief, and said his death served as a reminder to be vocal with those you care about.
Everybody say cavities.
Cavities!
Number 8. Lee Thompson Young.
Okay, boy, well, we'll try to stay out of your way.
Young started acting at 14 and quickly landed a role on the Disney Channel series The Famous Jet Jackson, which he held until the show's cancellation.
I want to thank you for helping me stay cool.
After that, he appeared in a few TV episodes here and there, and starred in a few films like the Friday Night Lights movie and Johnny Tsunami.
So, you any good on that thing?
Well, I have been known to get a little air.
But in 2010, Lee once again found himself a lead role on the TV show Rizzoli and Isles. However, more was going on behind the scenes. Young had been suffering from bipolar disorder and depression, which led the then 25-year-old actor to end his own life. His family then started a foundation in his memory to raise awareness about depression and mental illness, keeping his legacy alive.
I don't believe it. What? Yesterday was a perfect day. I just didn't know it.
Number 7. Brad Renfro.
What's the matter with him?
At the age of 11, Renfro scored the lead role in the movie The Client, which was a huge success and jump-started his career as a serious actor.
But Mark, don't you see, if you lie, you're gonna be just like them.
If I tell the truth, he'll kill me.
For the next few years, he continued to star in film after film, but never achieved quite the level of success he had with his debut role. Just 4 years after the release of The Client, Renfro's personal life started to suffer when he was arrested for cocaine and marijuana possession.
I'm serious.
He turned to substance abuse and criminal activity, and at the age of 25, he was found dead in his home of a heroin overdose. It was revealed only after his death that he had a son to succeed him. So at least his legacy lives on.
Do you miss your kids?
Number 6. Heather O'Rourke.
No more.
While eating lunch one day, Steven Spielberg spotted a 5-year-old girl with her family and decided he wanted her for his new horror film, Poltergeist. That's the story of how Heather O'Rourke came to hold a spot on the American Film Institute list of top 100 movie quotes.
They're here.
She returned for the other 2 films in the franchise, with the 3rd entry being released after her death, and also secured a recurring role on Happy Days.
Don't worry, Joni. If things don't work out, I'll be your best friend.
But unfortunately, Heather's acting career would be cut extremely short when she died of cardiac arrest, which was caused by septic shock previously misdiagnosed by doctors, when she was just 12 years old.
They're back.
Number 5. Anton Yelchin.
And it'll be the kiss by which all others in our life will be judged.
He was best known for portraying Pavel Chekhov in the Star Trek reboot films, but had an extensive resume he started building at the age of 11.
Lottie, there's a switch! It's behind the deflector dish! I'll flip the switch!
Anton Yelchin's death at the age of 27 is one of great confusion and heartbreak. While parked on a steep slope, the young actor exited his car when suddenly it rolled down the hill and pinned him to a brick pillar. The type of Jeep he'd been driving was soon recalled for an issue with the gear shift, though the company released a statement saying that blaming Yelchin's death on the recall issue was premature. With 5 projects set to be released after his death, it's clear Anton Yelchin was far from finished leaving his mark on the world.
Music is for effect. It's time and aggression.
Technical wizardry.
And it's shared live.
Number 4. Josh Ryan Evans.
If the book was written 1,000 years ago,
then the predictions were meant for now.
Josh Ryan Evans didn't let his dwarfism stop him from entering the acting business at the age of 12. He had minor roles in films like Baby Geniuses and Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I hate Christmas!
But then snagged the role of Timmy on Passions, for which he won 2 Soap Opera Digest Awards and was even nominated for an Emmy. The show had planned to have the character die and come back as an angel, but Evans' death in real life made that impossible. In fact, he had already shot his death scene, which, in a tragically ironic turn of events, was aired the same day Evans died at age 20 from complications due to a congenital heart condition. Number 3. Jonathan Brandis.
He can understand me.
Don't ask me. Ask him.
Some child stars may only enter into the business at 10 or 12, but not Jonathan Brandis. He was modeling as early as 4 years old and quickly got into commercials before booking his first acting gig at 6.
But won't people say that we're boyfriend-girlfriend?
Yeah, maybe.
His foray into acting began with numerous guest appearances on television shows and eventually led to bigger roles in film and TV. Most notably, Steven Spielberg's sci-fi series Sequest DSV and the miniseries based on Stephen King's It.
Go bug somebody else, you little cootie. I don't feel so hot.
But as quickly as he skyrocketed to celebrity and teen idol status, his roles started to become few and far between. And, unsatisfied with where his career was headed, he hanged himself at the age of 27.
Okay, Chesterfield, what do you want?
Number 2. Corey Haim.
Now, if there's any evidence at all that I took this car tonight, my dad's gonna slaughter me first and ask questions later, okay?
Corey Haim was one half of a set of Coreys that dominated Hollywood in the 1980s. In fact, Haim and Feldman starred in 7 movies together, most notably The Lost Boys.
Look, it says here that if you kill the head vampire, all half vampires will return to normal.
Unfortunately, Haim was exposed to the darker side of Hollywood before he was old enough to understand its drawbacks. He was sexually assaulted and turned towards drugs and alcohol before he was even legal. When he tried to escape his teen icon status, nothing proved to be a hit. Haim was actually 38 when he died from pneumonia, though his addiction to pain meds exacerbated his death. By the time he died, he was trying to turn his life around, showing that he could have done so much more with his life.
I can't believe our fans. I mean, when they see us together, they go nuts. It's really cool.
Before we reveal the child star we miss most, here are some honorable mentions.
Hey, my dad don't get on. Probably because my dad says potions are rubbish.
It's all right if you get angry, because you get angry with love.
Why don't you call him?
Are you crazy?
Why, what could happen?
Dad could rip my tongue out, that's what.
Number 1. River Phoenix. Back in 1993, River Phoenix, his sister Rain, and his brother Joaquin went to the famed Hollywood nightclub, the Viper Room. Sadly, River eventually stumbled out onto the sidewalk and collapsed, suffering a drug overdose. At the time of his death, River was only 23 years old, but had already accumulated a slew of film credits, including his most notable role in Stand By Me.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Phoenix did not limit his efforts to the big and small screens, but was also passionate about music, as well as environmental efforts and animal rights, being a vegan his whole life. Everyone agrees he was talented beyond his years and had a bright future ahead of him. It's too bad he didn't get to stick around to prove them right.
Well, you know, normal, like a mom and a dad and a dog and shit like that, normal.
Do you agree with our list?
Oh no! Timmy killed his princess!
Which child star's untimely death made you the saddest? For more nostalgic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Okay, but we grew up, and now we gotta make it right.